What's up, guys? I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Today, what I want to talk to you about is how I think Deadrop is really a perfect game right now in Snapshot 5 for casuals and sweats. I think by now we've all heard that extraction shooters are going to be the next biggest game mode. You're already starting to see the downward spiral of battle royales. Unless they start switching it up, start mixing some new things into the mix, I think those traditional battle royales are going to start to kind of die off, and you're starting to already see that. And everyone is saying that these extraction shooters are going to take over, they're going to be the next biggest thing. And while I don't 100% agree on that, you can't deny that they're definitely on the rise. And there's been this like slow rise to extraction shooters. I feel like they've slowly started to get popular over time, whereas with Battle Royale, it was like overnight they became poppin' and everybody was playing Battle Royale. Everybody wanted to produce a Battle Royale. Everybody was wanting to play it. I mean, it was crazy, right? But these extraction shooters, they've taken a long time to kind of rise where they're at now. And my question that I want to discuss with you guys today is, why has it taken so long for those to take off? Why has it been kind of this slow process for them to become popular? Why has it taken so long for the large casual base of gamers to catch on to these extraction shooters? Well, personally, I think the problem lies in two mechanics that we're going to talk about, and these two mechanics are issues in other games, but what Midnight Society has done to Deadrop is kind of fix those problems. So let's talk about the first one. If you were to pick your favorite extraction shooter, or the most popular, or the one that comes to mind first, you're gonna say Escape from Tarkov, right? That's the one that's become the most popular. That's the one that everybody's playing. It's like all my Twitter feed is either people are playing Warzone or they're playing Escape from Tarkov whenever it comes to FPS gaming. I feel like that's all I ever see. So what I'm gonna say here is totally subjective to me. I'm not speaking for everyone. I know there is this entire community that's dedicated to Tarkov and lots of people love it. But for me, I am not a fan. And one of the reasons why is, look, I'm older. I'm a little older, right? I've got a little more responsibility in my life than some of these younger guys that are grinding these games out. And that's not like a flex on me. That's not whatever on them. It's just like, that's the reality, right? I'm in my early 30s. I've got life going on. So I'm not able to play as much as I used to. When we're talking Tarkov, you've got this long grind in the beginning before you actually feel comfortable with your weapons, your gear, your healing items, leveling up in your factions, your different factions that you're leveling up. There's all this that takes place, right? Until you get to a level to where you're like, okay, now I can start taking in, these good weapons that I've grinded for, these good helmets, whatever it is. There's this long grind, but even still, after you do that long grind, there's this very real thing that's called gear fear. And if you're familiar with extraction shooters, you've heard this term before. A lot of people, it became popular in DayZ, then it kind of moved on to Tarkov, and it's a very real thing. You spend all this time grinding for this high tier loot or this high level item, and you're so scared to lose it in a raid that you don't take it out there. You keep it in your stash and you never take it out, and it's like, well, what's the point in getting that if it's just gonna sit in my stash, right? And now enter Deadrop. So as far as Snapshot 5 goes, this may change in the future, but as far as Snapshot 5 goes, regaining after death is so simple and easy and attainable. Going into a raid fully kitted out with the best weapons you got, the best armor you got, if you die and you lose all of that, you can regain that in probably one raid, all of that. And not only is it attainable, but it is 100% satisfying whenever you've gone in with nothing and then you end getting the Deadrop and you're fully kitted. By that point, it tells like this whole story of that raid, right? If you spawn in naked, you're gonna find some armor and some weapons within probably 30 seconds to a minute. And as long as nobody spawns like right beside you, there's plenty of time to give yourself a chance to get in that first gunfight. And for those guys that aren't able to grind out the game day after day, those guys that are only able to jump on for an hour or so, every other day or maybe once a week, going in naked, man, hey, you've always got a chance. So that casual player base, the replayability is always going to be there for those guys, and it's not going to be so grindy like Tarkov is. And the second mechanic that I want to talk about is the respawn mechanic that's in Deadrop. When we talk Tarkov, you've got a PMC life, and then you've got a scav life. And you know, your PMC is what your custom loadout, you're loading in to do missions, you're loading in to get kills, whatever it is. If you load in as a scav, what you're doing is you're trying to loot up, get out of there with as much loot as possible to kind of restock your stash. Well, Deadrop has kind of put those together, kind of, not 100%, but kind of. And what I mean by that is, so when you start, let's say you have your PMC life, you come in with your custom loadout, your weapons, your gear, whatever you want to bring in there, or maybe you're like me and you load up naked almost every time, right? So you go in there and you die. That's not the end. Well, after you die, you load in as what's called a sin, and you can compare this to the scavs in Tarkov. In Tarkov, you've got this random kind of predetermined loadout. You don't really know what it's going to be until you load into the game. Well, in Deadrop, they've kind of gotten rid of the randomness, and you spawn in with this automatic pistol and a little bit of ammo, and that's it. So it gives you that chance to kind of win a gunfight, get a kill, maybe loot up. You can regain really fast as a sin. But what's cool is that you don't have just one respawn, you have two. So altogether with your PMC life, right, your two sin lives, you've got 3 chances to win this game. And if you watched my last video, you may have heard that I mentioned that Deadrop in its state right now, it plays a lot like Halo Infinite's Last Spartan Standing. It's not around anymore, and it's a shame because it was a lot of fun. But basically, it was a battle royale set on a big team battle map. And the purpose of it was obviously to be the last Spartan standing, right? To win the battle royale match. But what was cool is in that mode, you had 5 respawns. So in this one, you've got 3, so it's very comparable. In that game mode in Last Spartan Standing, you were able to regain very quickly, and it's the same way in Deadrop. And I think that's going to be the key to really keeping this casual player base really engaged, is those 2 mechanics. And you know, my title is a game for the casuals and the sweats, and you say, well, Matt, how does this give the sweats any reason to play? Well, if you're respawning, that's more kills, right? I mean, there's not much more to say about that. All the sweats want more kills. They want more action. So a respawn mechanic fills that lobby up. It kind of fluffs that lobby for a longer amount of time, right? And then the other mechanic that I talked about, you know, the gear fear and how Deadrop has kind of gotten rid of that, and you can regain pretty much immediately after dying and losing your stuff. That kind of play style allows players to become aggressive and play really aggressively, right? Because if they lose their stuff, hey, they'll just load in the next match, get the same sniper that they were using. You know, it's very easy to regain. So the temptation to sit back and get scared and say, man, I don't want to lose this gun, I don't want to lose this armor, that's all gone. You're able to play aggressively, you're able to play loose, and that's the fun of battle royales, because hey, you know, in a battle royale, you're not losing anything other than maybe your pride. But you know, if you think about it, they've taken that aggressive playstyle, that playing loose playstyle in battle royales, they put it in an extraction shooter, and it's fantastic. I think that you can play aggressively, and you don't have to hide and worry about your loot and all those things. It creates this flow in the game that's very it's fast paced, and I think Doc's already said, he's already confirmed a few times on a stream that, you know, hey, they're wanting to keep things moving, keeping that flow up, you know. But hey, I've probably rambled on for far too long. This video is probably longer than what I wanted it to be, but I love talking about this stuff. But hey, if you're a fan of Deadrop and you want to see more content, maybe you want to see gameplay, maybe you want to see more discussions like this, I kind of do both. So feel free to hit subscribe, like the video, and hey, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you, yes you, on the next one.